Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pappy Hour. This is Pappy coming to you with another exciting episode of my show. Let's start with a disclaimer. This show, we talk about all kinds of topics, and honestly, I have no filter. Yes, you're going to hear some profanity in here because I tell it like it is. I don't discriminate. I'm simply an asshole to everyone. Happy January 1st, 2019, everybody. Welcome to the first ever Pappy Hour. Today's show, of course, is going to have a sponsor. It's being sponsored by Twitch star It's Bustin' Jeeber. Now, that's not the singer. It's Bustin', Bustinjieber. Okay, so it's Bustin' Jeeber. Thank you, Bustin' Jeeber, for sponsoring our show today. During our show, we're going to talk about all kinds of things, whether it be current events, politics, video games, basically whatever I want. I don't promote things on this show unless I believe in them. Unless I use them, I'm not going to promote anything that I think is crap. Now, technically, if you look it up in the dictionary, Pappy Hour stands for when you go to get drunk and happy hour looking for an old rich man to pay your bills. Not here. We're reinventing what Pappy Hour is. This podcast is now the official new definition of Pappy Hour. We could be talking about anything as far as politics. We can talk about religious things. There's really no one particular thing we're going to talk about. But I can tell you is I could put up a hell of an argument and get ready for it. And again, don't forget in that disclaimer, I have a tendency to throw out a few choice words, but I'll try to keep it as clean as possible. If you have ideas, please let me know, as I'm looking for ways to make the show bigger and better. Eventually, we'll have a podcast tie in with a live YouTube stream. Okay, if you go to YouTube, you can find me under Ryan is Pappy. Ryan with an R, not with a B. Ryan is Pappy. Hey, right now it's under construction because I'm learning how to use it. Now, you got to remember, I'm old. So for this year, my New Year's we're going to try that again. For my New Year's resolution, I decided to keep my fruit basket filled. That's right. It's always important to have food in the house. You know, I'm a prepper. I've always believed in having food, but my fruit basket is never filled. So right now, I filled it up with a bunch of Twinkies. Maybe next week I'll get some M&Ms in there, but it's always going to be full. Now, I never said it was going to be full of fruit. Just because it's a fruit basket doesn't need to mean it needs to be fruit. Now, back to the YouTube page bit. I had to throw in my resolution because it was rolling around in my head. But right now, on our YouTube page, we've got 2 videos on there of a few pranks that I played. And, of course, the first one with the water bottle was awesome. Okay, you know, the whole magic water bottle, squish in it, you know. And I can remember looking over at my mom after I did that, and I got the death stare. I mean, it was crazy. And then the second one, which is my favorite, has got my 2 youngest in there. Okay, I did the whole disappearing act where you throw the blanket up and you disappear. That was awesome. So there's 2 of them on there right now, and I'm going to try to kind of mix these together so that you could see some of the things I talk about on screen, and it'll be the exact same recording. So, and you never know. Pappy Hour could turn into Happy Hour. I might end up bringing out the moonshine, maybe some beer, and drinking and talking with you all. Hopefully get some people on some phone calls, maybe get into some arguments. That's right. Also, not long ago, I did the hot noodle challenge. Now, I did this noodle challenge with Bustin' Jeeber, which happens to be my son. He's my oldest, okay? So hopefully I can get that hot noodle challenge on there, because I can tell you, that hurt both ways, in and out. It was pretty bad, and we're getting ready to do a hotter noodle challenge coming up soon. So Pappy is a crazy old man, probably hitting my midlife crisis right now, but that's fine. Why don't you? I could use this show to, let you join in on my crisis. Well, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit to you. Okay, now, as this is my first podcast, I'm going to be learning how to actually use all this fancy software that I'm having to be taught by my son how to use. Matter of fact, right before this, I had to call him and ask him how to turn on my webcam. Now, yeah, of course, it's already plugged in, the little red light's going on, but the software, I couldn't figure it out, so he had to talk me through on the phone. So thank you, Bustin' Jeeber, for that. All right, so myself, currently right now, I reside in the state of Arizona in the Phoenix metropolitan area. I'm going to tell you, this place is crazy. I am originally from the southernmost point of Ohio, where I was born. And it's where it connects Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio together. So we're all right there on the river, okay? Out here, it's hot in the summer, but the winters are amazing. Now, the last 2 days, we've had rain, and it's been below 40 degrees. And I'm going to tell you, it's been a tough 2 days for people that live out here in Arizona, because we're not used to that. But being in Ohio, we had plenty of snow, and I don't miss that. I love to visit it as long as I can leave it and come back. So the Appalachian Mountain area where I'm from, okay, we have old story of the Hatfields and McCoys. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard about it, the longest family feud going on in basically the world. And this has been going on since the Civil War, which one day we're actually going to have a whole segment about the Hatfields and McCoys. Now, I am pure blood Hatfield. Okay, so just know, if you call me and you're a McCoy, we're probably going to have a little bit of a, falling out, I should say. But, as a matter of fact, I'm a business owner as well, and I'm planning on opening an office in the Kentucky area. And on the application, I have, are you a Hatfield or McCoy? That's the first part of the screening process, so it's kind of weird. But, yeah. So I'm a Hatfield. We are moonshine drinking, crazy family. I've got 4 kids of my own right now. I've got a 22-year-old, which happens to be Bustin' Jeeber. Then I've got a 21-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old daughter. Yeah, I started all over again, but my last 2 were definitely miracle babies, because it had been almost 16, 17 years of trying, and all of a sudden, here they are. So that was a blessing from God on that one, definitely. My son, the real Bustin' Jeeber. Okay, it's Bustin' Jeeber. He's on Twitch. You might want to check him out. He plays a lot of video games, and he's really good at it. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to try to play some games with him on a couple of my segments, and that way I've got it going on the podcast, but then we'll have it on that YouTube thing. So I did set up a Twitch account, so we will have that eventually. I'm also on Twitch. It's known as Ryan is Pappy. Okay, Ryan with an R, not with a B. Okay, I know people sometimes get that mixed up, and I'm telling you, if I had $1 for every time I was called Brian, I'd be a rich man. I wouldn't have to even do this podcast. I can have somebody else do it for me. I am a Second Amendment gun-tooting Republican. That's right. I believe in my guns. I believe in my Constitution. And I tell you, I'm out in the range all the time. So we're probably going to have segments on firearms, and I may bring in some of my other fellow NRA instructors, which I am as well. I'm also a prepper, so I believe in making sure that you're ready to defend the world should the world need your help, especially your family and your friends and your government. I'm a business owner. I own a security company. Been in the industry for this be now 21 years, and I've owned a business for almost 10 now, and say it's been a very interesting challenge. So we may even have some talks later on about security things that are going on in the world, and my thoughts and my theories on it. So I guess you could say that I'm a gun-tooting Republican hillbilly, minivan driving badass father. Do I believe in America? Hell yeah, I believe in the Constitution, what America was built for, and will defend her in every way I can. I'm telling you right now, I refuse to kneel and will honor your belief in kneeling based on your freedom of speech because, like I said, I believe in the Constitution. Freedom of expression. But don't forget how you got those freedoms. I stand for those that defended our country, died to protect our country, those that will still defend the men and women of our law enforcement, our firefighters, our medics, our first responders. I stand for all of them. And I will stand forever. And I'm pretty sure one day we're going to have a segment on this, and I'm going to love to see how many liberals I can piss off. I come from the Atari age. That's right, Donkey Kong, Pong, best in the world. When I was a kid and I got this, and as a matter of fact, it was the doctors that suggested my parents get this for me. Because, growing up, we started learning about ADD. We started learning about hyperactive, and doctor even told them it's going to help them with that, but it's also going to help my hand-eye coordination. Probably what made me a crack shot now with the firearms. Just saying. Then, of course, the Nintendo came out. I'm a gamer. I love games. I like to play like sim games. Believe it or not, this may sound corny, but my favorite game right now on the market is farm simulation. And you're driving a tractor, plowing fields. You may think it sounds stupid, but it's kind of a zen for me. Especially in my industry of work, I'm stressed all the time. And matter of fact, that's probably what's going to make this show a lot more fun, is being so stressed out and letting you all hear me take it out on the world. Love sports games, getting into the military ops games and stuff like that, but can't play those with my kid because he kills me every time. So he's really good at those. I'm a huge sports fan. We talk about baseball. When baseball season starts up, Reds and the Diamondbacks, seeing as I'm from Ohio now, yes, there is the Cleveland Indians, but I am a Reds fan. I believe Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because of what he did before he was stupid and gambled. He was a player that played his ass off every day, and he deserves it for that. And I will defend him on that as long as I can. Diamondbacks, because they're the home team here, and we've got some cheap-ass owners that made some stupid decisions recently to let Paul Goldschmidt leave the team and traded him off for some really no-name stuff, and lost a huge fan base because of that, because that guy was the heart of the team. But hopefully they're going to be smart and invest in the team a little bit more, and we're going to see what happens with that. Football. I'm a Cardinals fan. Even though they won 4 games this season. Rosen, I'm looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully Fitzgerald comes back. Thank God they fired Wilkes today. That was a blessing. I'd like to see him bring in that old Packers coach. Bring in somebody that actually knows what they're doing. But, if we can get Bruce Arians to come out of retirement and save us, he would be a blessing as well. But, hey, you know what? How about Kurt Warner? Let's bring him in to coach. He can't play anymore. Why not let him coach? But then again, also when it comes to NFL, now I switch cities. I'm not a Bengals fan from Cincinnati. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. And we had our best season in forever, as long as I can remember. And that was a lot of fun. 7 wins, 7 losses, 1 tie. They even had a 2-game winning streak. Best season they've had in a long time. So it's going to be awesome to see what they could do next year. I mean, they weren't the worst this year, which is amazing. Cardinals got the first pick in the draft, so we're going to see what they do with that. But they beat out Miami. They beat out Denver this year. They beat out the Raiders, the Jets. We may even get the Raiders here next year in Glendale, Arizona, because they have to leave California, and Vegas isn't ready for them yet. So we'll see what happens with that. And then, of course, we've got the Phoenix Suns in basketball. I do follow them. Robert Sarver, I would love to call you out and actually have a conversation on why you're so damn cheap, why you won't bring us any players that want to play as a team. They're doing better. They're a very young team. We've got Booker, DeAndre Ayton, probably two of the smartest decisions they've made in years. But Robert Sarver, man, you need to sell the team. Sell it to somebody that actually cares about basketball. I was at the last game sitting behind you, and we're playing Golden State. Now, they still lost the game, okay? But you are an absent-minded owner. You used to be vocal. You used to care about the sport. And now all you care about is lining your pockets. It's time to take care of Phoenix. You want us to build you a new stadium and upgrade your stadium? Why don't you bring us a team that deserves that stadium? I'm just saying. But they are starting to play like a team. But these guys are real young, and they need some experience out there. Starver, you need to go, man. I love listening to talk radio. That's one of the things I do. KTAR 92.3 out here in Arizona has Mac and Gatos. Those guys are tell it as it is, no filter. Love those guys. Darren Danny used to be on KTAR. No fake news with these guys, but you won't find that shit here either. There ain't going to be any fake news in this market. Nope, I'm sorry. I am not going to change this show in any way to please any liberals. So if you're offended by something I say, I apologize, but won't change it around, because I love my First Amendment. That's right. Now, I hope you continue to listen to the show. Yeah, even then, you might even be able to email me, leave some comments, and we could talk about it. And possibly, maybe even throw in a phone interview and see what we can come to as far as terms. Rants and raves. It's one of my favorite things to do. Hopefully, we can push some buttons and be heard. Hopefully, I can impart some knowledge and spread what I call the word of Ryan. No, I'm just kidding on that. It's not the word of Ryan. But maybe inform you of some things going on in the world that you didn't know of. My point of view. I want to hear your point of view on it. If I talk about something on a certain topic in a show, and you want to tell your point of view, let me know, and I'll make sure I bring that up in the next episode. Now, kind of change it up a little bit just for a few minutes. Because, again, this is my first show, so I'm not exactly sure how to do this. So I'm trying to make it a 30-minute show, but we'll see how close we can get to that actual thing today. But the average shows I plan on doing are going to be hour shows. And planning right now, one a week. If we get some viewers in there and it starts going up, I will gladly add a couple more if need be, as long as we have topics to talk about, and hopefully get some people to come in and interview. I'm going to be reaching out to a few. Hopefully I can get a couple celebrities that I know to talk about their movie experiences and stuff like that, so that'll be fun. But I got a funny story for today. I always want to try to tell you what's going on in my life, and this last year has been real rocky for me. Been really, really tough, some really dark moments, and I got to thank my family for sticking with me on that. That's been a blessing. And my employees, I've got some badass employees that have been with me forever that I basically consider family. They have gone above and beyond to make sure that my company runs the best it does. And but today, my girlfriend's niece, she got a new car a little while ago. And my girlfriend was in the car with her because my girlfriend's borrowing the car to go to Utah to visit for a day. And her niece is giving her this basic instructional how to use her car properly because, it's a newer car. She wants to make sure her aunt knows the ins and outs of, the car. And I kind of kneeled down and I asked her niece, I said, hey, you have summer air or do you have winter air in your tires right now? And you should have seen the look on her face. She's all, I don't know. And I'm trying not to laugh, and we're kind of giggling about it a little bit. And then I said, hey, did you change the blinker fluid in this? And had it going for a little while. That was kind of fun. And I just couldn't hold a straight face, so I finally, started laughing. Then I said, do you know where your flux capacitor is in your car? And she goes, wait a minute, that's from Back to the Future. So finally she caught me on that. She realized that I was playing games with her. So that was kind of a classic. I enjoyed that one today. My daughter, my 4-year-old, is hilarious. So instead of saying Happy New Year, it's Happy New Christmas. So she's definitely stuck in that whole Christmas thing, thinking Christmas is going to come a lot faster. Thank God it only comes once a year, because I've never raised girls. Because when my oldest daughter was born, I didn't get to know her for many, many years. And found out about her as she was a little older. And, of course, she hates me now because of that, because she thinks I was a horrible dad. So hopefully we can get that fixed, and maybe she'll listen in on some of these shows and see what we can do to mend that relationship. But I lost my train of thought on that, because, talking about my daughter kind of hits home. Well, yeah. So thank God, because now I'm raising 2 little girls. And so it's all dolls and Barbies and Play-Doh and crayons. And I'm getting nervous because they're girly girls. They like to have little fashion shows. When you put them in a dress, they come out and they, pose and dance and all that. So I'm getting scared, because I see makeup, I see nail painting, lipstick, eyelashes, jewelry, expensive dresses, shoes, and if they're anything like their mother, I'm definitely screwed. Yeah, I'm the simple guy, don't need much, but this is going to be a tough one. My son, he was very simple, didn't need a lot, and but now he wants the expensive stuff, so he can bring his gaming level up. So we're supporting that one too. So that's been a lot of fun. I like to watch Netflix. One of my things on there, I love to watch documentaries. Right now I'm watching this thing on conspiracies, which I really want to have a show on that one day, where we're talking about, like, Hitler didn't die. Nobody ever found his body. Talk about, the little things that are going on. Jesse Ventura used to have this great show on conspiracies. Man, that guy could really get you thinking. So hopefully one day I could do a little bit of a segment and talk about some of this and get you thinking and say, that might be right. Pappy knows this shit. Always think to yourself, WWPD, what would Pappy do? Okay, that's because we don't back down. We try to figure it out on our own. Try to figure out what's real and what's not. But there's a show down there on Netflix that I suggest you check it out. It's called Medal of Honor, where they talk about some of the stories of people that have received Medal of Honors. Vietnam War, Afghanistan War, Iraq, World War II, Korean War. Great story to hear their stories and all that. You might want to check it out. So Netflix, the show's called Medal of Honor, and I'm going to try and see if I can get a couple of those guys that are still with us today to come on that show so we can talk and thank them for their service. Now, I have 3 people in my family, both my grandfathers. The one on my dad's side, Joseph Eldridge, fought in World War II. My grandfather, on my mom's side, Frank Hampton Dowdy, he fought in World War II, and my uncle Richard Dowdy served in Vietnam. And, those guys are my heroes. My grandfather in World War II was one of those platoons that liberated one of the first concentration camps. And, his story is in the archives in the someplace in Washington. I'm going to see if I can find out what that is. I'm going to suggest everybody listen to that story. Listening to those stories from those people that fought those wars gives you a different perspective of what's going on out there. So, we want to make sure that we continue to tell those stories. Especially, for me, when my son was in high school, I actually showed him the transcript of that, and it looked like he was pretty blown away with, what his heritage, his family did to get to where they are. I want to be able to tell my daughters these stories, and so that they can tell their kids. I want to, when Pappy gets grandkids, you hear that, Bustin' Jeeber? Pappy gets grandkids. I want to be able to tell them stories about their great-great-grandfather. So, I want to keep those memories alive. So those are good. Now, we're kind of running down towards the end of the show, as I'm seeing I'm about 25 minutes in, and I want to make sure that I did a good job on this and it got all recorded right and all that. But before we end the segment today, I got what I'm calling Pappy's Thought of the Day. Now, if you buy your milk and your eggs from the store, do you ever wonder if you've had milk from the same cow more than once? Or if your eggs came from the same chicken? I know, I'm mind blown, right? Shh. I mean, think about it. How many times have you had milk from the same cow? Crazy, I know, right? Stupid. I have useless information, but sometimes you might find it fun. All right, so we're gonna have a fun time. I'm looking forward to listening in. I'm looking forward to bringing stories towards you. My rants and raves, which my next one, we're going to start ranting and raving about things going on in the U.S. alone, and maybe see how many people we can piss off. I want you guys to stay safe. I want you to take care of each other. And remember, 2019 is going to be the year things get better. Later, guys.